Hello and welcome to JNC Better Living's Rooted Yoga. Today's practice, we're going to get started in the middle of our mat, and then we're going to kind of do a 180 degree turn around the mat and then back. So I will try to cue you in mirroring you. So when I'm moving my right foot, you'll be moving your left foot and so forth. So just keep that in mind because I just want to get a little movement today. And as we get started, I'm going to ask you to stand with your toes pointing to the side of your mat, arms at your sides, and close your eyes for a moment. And I'm going to ask you to sway a little bit back and forth, trying to find the four corners of your feet. So try to locate the bone behind your big toes, and then the bone behind your pinky toes. And now the heel bone, feel both sides of that. And those are the four corners we're talking about. Now really press into the ground and root yourself into your mat as you lift away from your arches and engage your calf muscles. Then continue that up your body, lift away from your kneecaps as you engage your thighs. Now we come up to our abdomen. Really pull your abs into your spine and lengthen your tailbone down your back. Lengthen through your side body, and then roll your shoulders down and back. Lift the crown of your head up, reaching toward the ceiling as you spread your fingertips and reach them down toward the floor. This is our standing mountain pose called Tadasana in Sanskrit. And this is a very energetic and engaging pose. Engaging your muscles to your bone and really waking everything up in your body. A very strong pose, that's why it's called mountain. And actually all of the poses in yoga yearn to be this steady, straight spine, bone over bone, muscle engagement position with the modification, of course, of a bent limb or a bent torso, but ultimately you're always trying to be this engaged and this straight, creating a wonderful posture. Now we want to add some movement and breath to our posture. So we want to breathe in and out through our nose and create even inhales and exhales. And then we want to link that breath to our movement. So as we breathe in, let's now take our hands up overhead, touching at the top. And as we breathe out, we're going to press the air away and bring our hands down back to our sides. Let's do that a couple more times. Linking breath to movement. Breathe in, lift your hands up overhead. Breathe out, press the air away as you bring your hands back to your sides. One more time now. Breathe in, lifting your arms up overhead. Breathe out as you press the air away down to your sides. Now before we open our eyes, let's bring our hands to heart center and set an intention for this practice of gratitude. Let's be thankful for all of the things we forget to acknowledge and that we take it for granted, like our breath, like our heart beating, like the way our body can recover. Be thankful for the sun and the moon and all of the people you have in your life. And we'll come back to that just like we come back to our breath as we move through our flow. Now blink your eyes open. Breathe in as you reach your arms one more time up and touch overhead. Now hinge at your hips as you swan dive forward. Hands come to the mat. Head hangs heavy. Forward fold. Let's pedal out our feet a little bit here. Moving side to side, waking our hips up, waking our legs up. On your next inhale, bring your hands to your shins, half lift, flat back, crown of your head reaches forward. Breathe out as you hang heavy one more time. Now just walk your hands, what will be to your right, my left, and plant your hands so that fingers are very wide apart, and then step your feet back so that you are in downward dog, an upside down V. Really ground into the knuckles of your hands and spiral your upper arm bones out as you engage your core and press your chest toward your thighs. Knees can be bent or straight here. Heels do not have to touch the mat, but ultimately they're yearning toward the mat. Try to really find some looseness in your neck. Let your head hang heavy, but engage your core, engage your hands, engage your thighs. On your next breath in, lift your right foot up and back, trying to plant the sole of your foot on an imaginary wall behind you. Hips should be square to the ground here, and you want to create a nice long line of energy from your heel to your head. Breathe in as you bring your knee to your nose and do a nice crunch. Shoulders roll over to your wrists. Breathe out as you press your foot up and back. 2 more times like that. Breathe in, knee to nose, crunch. Breathe out, press your foot up and back. Last time now, breathe in, knee to nose. This time, hover for a moment, and then step your foot between your hands. Pivot on your back foot. Heels can be aligned, or front heel should be dissecting your back foot, and then rotate your arms around and up, coming into Warrior Two pose. In this pose, your front leg should be at a 90-degree angle, and your gaze should be out over your front middle finger. Now we're going to connect our breath to our movement here. Breathe in as we take our arms up and overhead, straightening our front leg. Breathe out as you sink into Warrior Two. Breathe in, take your hands up and overhead. Breathe out, Warrior Two. Last time, breathe in. Reach your hands up overhead, front leg straightens. Breathe out as you press the air away, back to Warrior Two. Now we're going to reach a little bit forward, flip our palm, and then tip-tock your arms so your front arm comes up to the sky, back arm down to your thigh. This is reverse warrior. One more breath here. Really engage through your core, lengthen through your side body. Breathe out, bend your front elbow, and reach your back arm up to the sky for side angle. Parsvakonasana. Breathe in, really fine length here. Spiral your chest toward the ceiling. Breathe out as you sink a little bit deeper into your front knee. Breathe in, now come back to Warrior Two for just a breath. Breathe out as you spiral your hands down to the mat, and then walk your hands toward the middle of your mat as you pivot on your front foot. Now both toes are facing the side of the mat. We're in a half lift position, flat back. And as you breathe out, lower all the way down to a forward fold. Elbows now being bent, fingers can be about at toe level. Breathe in, really press into the outer sides of your feet and try to balance your weight between your toes and your heels. Breathe in one more time. Now half lift, pressing into your mat, coming back to a flat back. On your next breath in, plant your left hand under your nose and take your right hand up to the sky for a side twist. Twisting from your mid to upper back and trying to keep your hips squared so that you could place a teacup on your sacrum and it would not fall off. Keeping those hips steady now, bring your hand down to the mat, plant your right hand under your nose, and now sweep your left hand up to the sky for a twist on this side. One more breath in here, reach your fingers high, breathe out, hand comes back to the mat. Now walk your hands all the way toward your left foot. Keep your right foot in a 45-degree angle. Bend into your left knee and spiral your hands up, coming back to Warrior Two on this side. Do a little movement now. Breathe in, hands come up overhead as you straighten your front leg. Breathe out as you sink into your front knee. Breathe in, hands come overhead. Breathe out, sink into your knee. Breathe in, lift up, hands come overhead. Breathe out, sink into your knee. Now reach forward, flip your hand, and then reach your left arm up to the sky. Right arm comes down to your thigh for Reverse Warrior. Breathe in here, find length. Again, engaging through our core. Breathe out, bend at your left elbow as your right arm sweeps to the sky for side angle. Breathe in, find length, really spiraling your chest toward the ceiling. Breathe out as you sink into your front knee. Breathe in as you come back to Warrior Two, and then breathe out as you spiral your hands down to the mat. Now let's pivot on our back foot and step your left foot back to meet your right, coming into plank pose. Want to make sure that your fingers are spread wide here. You really got your wrists under your shoulders, and then press into the mat as you round through your upper back. Gaze is down at the mat. Holding plank here for 2 breaths. If you're shaking, that's okay. That means you're doing a great job of engaging all of your muscles to your bones. One more breath in here, and then bend at your elbows and lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Untuck your toes here. Leave your hands by your shoulders. Press into your hands for a gentle back bend. Gaze stays down. Breathe out as you lower back to the mat. 2 more times like that. Now breathe in. Don't forget to engage your core. Lift your chest. Breathe out. Come all the way down. Last time now. Breathe in. Press into your hands. If you're comfortable doing so, you can straighten into your arms to get a deeper back bend. Breathe out as you lower all the way down. Now tuck your toes, spread your fingers wide, press into your arms as your body comes up like a straight board, and then lift your sits bones high to the sky, rolling over your feet, coming back to downward dog on this side. You can pedal out your feet here a little bit. Once again, stretching out your legs and your hips. And then we're going to take those movements and rotate back the other way on our mat. Again, I'll be mirroring you and using cues that are opposite of what I'm doing so that you can follow along through the cues alone. Now we're going to start on the other side, lifting your left foot up and back. Once again, keeping our hips square to the mat. Breathe out as you bring your knee to your nose, rounding through your shoulders. Breathe in, lift your foot up and back. Breathe out, crunch. Breathe in, foot up and back. Breathe out, round, bring your knee to your nose, and then step your foot between your hands, pivot on your back foot, and spiral your hands up, coming into Warrior Two. Connecting our movement and our breath again. Breathe in as you straighten into your front leg, hands come overhead. Breathe out as you sink to Warrior Two. Breathe in, hands come up and overhead. Breathing out, Warrior Two. Breathe in, hands up and overhead. Breathe out, Warrior Two. Now reach forward, flip your front palm, and then reaching that up to the sky, coming into reverse warrior. Breathe in, one more breath here, finding length through your side body, remembering to engage your core. Breathe out as you bend into your front arm, back arm sweeps to the sky for our side angle. Now we'll find a little movement with those poses. So breathe in, left arm sweeps to the sky, right arm goes back. Breathe out, front arm bends, back arm comes up to the sky, side angle. One more time like that. Breathe in, reverse warrior. Breathe out, side angle. Now breathe in, come back to our Warrior Two pose. And then we're going to rotate our hands down to the mat and walk our hands back to the middle, coming into our wide-legged forward fold again. This time we're going to take our right toes and pivot them out toward the edge of the mat. Bend into that knee and then lift your toes to point upward, straightening into your left leg, coming into Skandasana pose or extended Malasana, one-legged Malasana. You can leave your hands here on the ground, or if you would like some additional balance, you can take your hands to prayer, or you can extend your hands into a mudra, really trying to center your weight between your heels and the ball of your foot, using your core to help you stay steady and really strengthening that straightened leg as you press into the ball of your bent leg. One more breath here, and then breathe out. Hands come down, press into your hands, and bend into your left knee now, straightening through your right leg, coming into Skandasana on this side. Breathe in, try to find length. Crown of your head reaches up, even if your hands are down on the floor, or try to find one of those balancing poses. Really, again, strengthening the muscles in our legs, engaging through our core, lifting the crown of our head. And then breathe out, hands come back down as we press into the floor, and now walk our hands all the way back to our right foot, pivoting on our back foot, and then stepping our foot back to meet the other, coming into plank pose again. Breathe in, find length, take your shoulders slightly over your wrists, and this time lowering halfway down to chaturanga, and then roll over your toes. Breathe in, up dog. Breathe out. Lift your sits bones high to the sky, coming back to our downward dog on this side. Okay, so that took us back and forth on the mat. And now we're going to do the same thing again, just adding on to it a little bit more. So, sweeping the right leg up and back. Breathe out as you, this time, just plant your foot between your hands. Pivot on your back foot and rotate your hands up to warrior two. Breathe in as we find that movement overhead. Breathe out as we sink into warrior two. Breathe in as we find length through our side body, hands overhead. Breathe out, sink back to warrior two. Last time, breathe in, hands overhead. Breathe out, sink back to warrior two. Now reach forward and then lift your right hand to the sky. Left hand finds your back thigh for reverse warrior. And then right arm bends, left arm reaches to the sky for side angle. One more time, breathe in, left arm comes down, right arm reaches up. This time, straightening into your right leg, coming into reverse triangle. And then breathe out, hands come to parallel. Now shift your left hip back, reach your right arm forward, and now tick-tock your hands so that they are straight up and down, left hand reaching to the sky, coming into our triangle Trikonasana pose. The goal here really to find straight arms so that your shoulders are aligned, not to over crane your neck. You can look up at your thumb if you like, but it's perfectly okay to look straight ahead, really engaging through our core and our legs here. Breathe in, find length. Breathe out as maybe you sink a little deeper, but making sure that you maintain the quality of the length in your spine. Breathe in as you bend into your front leg. Come back to warrior two for one breath. Breathe out as we spiral our hands down to the mat and then walk them to the middle. This time we're going to put our toes out, heels in, bend into our knees deeply, and then lift our torso up, coming into goddess pose. In this pose, we want to try to get our knees so that they're pointing over the middle of our foot. And you really want to draw your tailbone down and back. Find as much length through your spine as you can, reaching the crown of your head up to the ceiling, trying not to be hunched over or rounded in any way. We can find a little movement here if that feels good to you. You can leave your hands in prayer or bring them out into that mudra we tried before. You can close your eyes if that helps you. Breathing in, shaking through our thighs is awesome, and sinking a little deeper as you take 2 more breaths in and out here. You can do it. 1, 2. On your next breath, reach your hands up, coming into star pose, letting all of that go. Now taking your toes a little bit in, pigeon-toed, heels out, swan dive all the way forward, coming into our wide-legged forward fold again. Breathe in, finds length, half lift, flat back, crown of your head reaches forward. Breathe out one more time, wide-legged forward fold. Now we'll take our hands and walk them to your left, pivoting on your left foot, leaving your back foot in a 45-degree angle and spiraling up to warrior two again. Breathe in, reach your hands overhead, straighten your front leg. Breathe out, warrior two. Breathe in, linking our breath to movement. Breathe out, warrior two. Last time, breathe in, hands overhead, straight front leg. Breathe out, warrior two. Now reach forward and then reverse warrior. And as we breathe out, bend into your left arm, raise your right arm to the sky for side angle. Now breathe in, left arm comes back to the sky, reverse warrior. Now straighten into your front leg, reverse triangle, and then breathe out, hands back to parallel. Shift your hips back, reach your front arm forward, and then tip-top your hands coming into triangle pose. Breathe in, up the spine and length. Don't forget to engage your core, really extending and lengthening through your side body. Breathe out, bend into your front knee. Come back to warrior two for one breath. Breathe out as we rotate our hands down, pivot on our back foot, step our front foot back to meet our left, and then here we are again in plank pose. Going into chaturanga or cobra if you prefer, bending at the elbows. I'm going halfway down to chaturanga. Breathe in as you roll over your toes, lift your chest, thighs off the mat, coming into upward dog, and then roll back over your toes, sits bones high, coming into downward facing dog. This is the perfect place to catch our breath and reconnect to our inhales and exhales. So knees come down to the mat, sits bones, find your heels, reach your hands out in front of you, forehead finds the mat for child's pose. Just take a couple of breaths here, reconnecting to our breath and our intention of gratitude. Think about all of the work your body is doing to help you to get through this flow. Your heart is beating, blood is going to all your appendages, your muscles are moving. All things that we take for granted every day that we can truly be thankful for. We have the earth below us to support us. Outside my window I have a nice sun shining to lighten this room. And just being thankful for those little things. On your next breath in, press into your hands. Come back to hands and knees. And then tuck your toes, lift your sits bones up, coming back to downward dog. I'm going to take a couple other movements here, and then we will work our way back down to the mat to finish off. So breathe in, lift your left leg high to the sky. Breathe out, step your foot between your hands. Now stay on the ball of your back foot. This is low lunge. Try to find length, really reaching the crown of your head forward, and then press into your feet as you raise your hands overhead, coming into crescent lunge. Breathe in, lengthen through your spine, reach the crown of your head up. Breathe out as you press your back heel backwards. Breathe in as you engage your core, lengthen your tailbone down and back. Breathe out as you sink a little bit more into your front knee. Now we're going to take a little breath to movement here. So breathe in, find length, reach your arms up. Breathe out as you bring your hands to heart center and bend your back knee so that it hovers just an inch off the mat. Breathe in, reach your arms up, straighten your back knee. Breathe out, hands to heart center, bend your back knee to hover. One more time, breathe in, reach your hands up. Breathe out, bend your back knee, hands to heart center. Breathe in, straighten through your back leg now, hands up, and then press off your back foot as you launch into Warrior Two pose. If you need a couple of attempts to get there, that's okay. Remember to try to find all 4 points of your standing leg on your foot so that you can balance and press your back heel back. Torso should be parallel to the earth. Breathe in, find length. Breathe out, take your foot and swing it to meet your other standing leg. We'll take a cleansing breath, breathe in, lift your arms up to the sky, and breathe out, hands come to heart center. Now we'll take that on the other side, so step your right foot back to the back of the mat, pivot on your left foot, take your right toes so that they're facing the other way, and then pivot on your back foot. Now we are in high lunge, facing the other way. Breathe in, hands come up and overhead. Breathe out, hands come to heart center as you bend your back knee. Breathe in, lift your arms up overhead. Breathe out, bend into your back knee and hover. Breathe in, lift your arms up, straighten your leg. Breathe out, hands to heart center. Breathe in, now press your heel back, straighten your leg, lift your arms, and then press off your back foot, launching into Warrior Three on this side. Pressing your heel back behind you, finding all 4 corners of the standing foot, strengthening through your calf and thigh muscles. Torso is parallel to the earth. One more breath in here. Breathe out as you sweep your left leg to meet your right, coming back to standing. One cleansing breath here. Breathe in, lift your arms high. Breathe out, hands to heart center. Breathe in, reach your arms down, around and up, and breathe out. Hinge at your hips, fold all the way forward, coming into a forward fold. Now we're just going to plant our hands, step our feet back, and then come down to our knees, pivoting your sits bones to find the mat as your legs go the other way, and then join me here on the floor in a seated pose. We're going to take our legs out wide. We want to lift the flesh away from our sits bones so that we're sitting nice and tall. And sometimes you can find that a blanket will help you to find a little bit more length in your spine if you take that right under your sits bones and just sit on the edge. So I'm going to do that because that feels much better to me, and it helps me to not dump in my lower back. So let's breathe in, reach our arms up, and then breathe out. Hands come either straight down in front of you, or they can find your heels, finding a nice forward fold. Stretch on your inner thighs. Crown of your head reaches forward. Hinge comes from your hips, not your back. And let's find a little bit of gravity helping us to fold deeper into this pose. Breathe in, find length. Breathe out, sink a little deeper. Breathe in helps you find length. Breathe out, sink a little deeper. On your next breath in, let your hands walk you all the way up. And now we're going to take our right leg straight out in front of us. Take your left leg, bend it, and up and over your knee, planting your left foot on the mat. We're going to take our right arm now and wrap it around our left knee, our right knee, our left knee, and reach your left arm up to the sky, coming into a nice seated twist. Try to use your core engagement to twist your body, and then when you feel like you've gone as far as you can lower your left hand just to support you. But finding this nice twist, not over turning your neck in any way that would cause any pain there. Just letting your gaze be off to the side, using your core engagement to maintain this nice twist. One more breath here. Breathe out as you come back to center. Now take your left leg and extend it in front of you. Right leg reaches up and over your knee. Taking your left arm now, wrapping it around your right leg. And your right arm up to the sky. Twisting, using your core. Finding length as you breathe in. Twisting as you breathe out. And then on your next breath, you can drop your right hand just to support you, but not putting a lot of weight on that at all, as you want to find length and use your muscles to engage. Breathe in one more time here. Breathe out as you twist a little deeper, and then come back to center. You can shake out your legs a little bit here. And now I'm going to rotate myself so that I'm back on my mat, and we'll do a little bit of boat pose, planting our feet, taking our hands behind our thighs, and then lowering our torso back just slightly. Let's bring our shins to parallel to the earth. Finding nice core engagement here. Broaden through your shoulders and your collarbone. Lift the crown of your head up. Your abs should start working here and shaking. Really finding a lot of length. And then if you want to, you can release your hands and let your abs do even more work. But if you find that you're not maintaining this nice straight back, you should go back because this is better for your back to have that support if you need it. Otherwise, it's great if you're using just your abs, keeping your spine straight for 3, 2, 1. Plant your feet, wrap your arms around your thighs, legs, giving yourself a nice hug. And then slowly roll back one vertebrae at a time, coming into our Shavasana prep. So let's take one more pose here before we go into Shavasana. Knees bent and pointed up to the ceiling. We'll take a little bridge pose. You should roughly be able to kind of touch your heels with your fingertips, but some people are just not able to do that, and that's okay. But you just want to make sure that your knees are pointing up and that your knees are about hip distance apart. So they shouldn't be touching and they shouldn't be out. They should just be straight up. And then you want to find those 4 corners of our feet again, like we did in mountain pose. Press into them as you lift your hips up toward the ceiling off the mat, and arms can either be extended toward your heels still, or you can clasp them underneath you and shimmy your shoulders under your chest so that you're also finding the chest heart expansion here. Press into your feet as you lift your hips up And then press forward with your knees just slightly so you find a lot of length and extension through your front side body. Breathe in, lift maybe a little bit higher, and breathe out. Release your hands if you have them clasped, and slowly lower down one vertebrae at a time. Beautiful job. Now extend one leg and then the other, coming into our Shavasana pose. Close your eyes, and now let your breath come back to its natural cadence. And let's come back one more time also to our intention and our gratitude for the little things. All of the functions that your body performs that you maybe take for granted every day. And the fact that your breath can not only get you through difficult poses in yoga, but it can get you through difficult times in life. So if you're ever in a stressful situation, I encourage you to close your eyes and take in some breaths through your nose, exhaling also through your nose. Trying to breathe in for a count of 3 or 4, and then exhaling for a count of 3 or 4, or even longer if you can exhale longer. And that helps to reset your nervous system. Letting go of some stress, engaging your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the part that helps you to relax. And that's what we're going to do right now. Just relax. Let go. Let go of any thoughts in your mind of your to-do list. And just focus on your breath and your body and the way it is functioning for you. We'll take a couple minutes here, and then I will guide you out of this pose to complete our sequence for today. Slowly start to wake yourself up, but keep your eyes closed. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll out your wrists and roll out your ankles. Take your hands and reach them overhead as you reach your toes even more forward, finding this nice kind of wake up stretch. And then bring your knees into your chest. Grab a hold of them with your hands and give yourself one more nice squeeze. Roll over to whatever side is comfortable and convenient for you. Grounding here in a fetal position for one breath. Now press into the hand that's on the ground and lift yourself up to a seated, comfortable position. Take your hands to heart center, keeping your eyes closed. acknowledging yourself for all the work you did, and be grateful for your body and for who you are. You are one of a kind. The light and love in me respects and honors the light and love in each one of you. Thank you for letting me lead you in this practice today. Take your chin to your chest, bowing your head for all you are grateful for. Namaste.
Thank you so much for joining me today. Comment below if there are areas that you'd like me to address in future yoga practices. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more free rooted yoga from JNC Better Living. Namaste.